Podcast. Got special guest Tyler, my brother. Got Cody and Sean, and yours truly, Kay.
I think we're gonna do some discussion on music tonight.
Music for me is, huge. I listen to it in the shower. Mm-hmm. I listen to it while I'm riding. I listen to it in the car, obviously. It is amazing when I think about it how much music I listen to. I mean, it's hours. I was like I know it ain't huge, but top 5% of Spotify and the most music listened to. To me, it was neat. It's like, cool. Yeah.
It's a statement. Really random, but you talking about that, it reminded me of a meme of SpongeBob. You said because you listened to it when you were riding. I always used to listen to some gangster shit whenever I was riding, and it reminded me of SpongeBob. There was one of them that said me about to hit a mud hole listening to Kevin Gates or something like that, and it was him in the boat with his toe on the gas pedal.
Slams it down. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's hype music.
Yeah, it's just something about it,
It depends on the setting.
Yeah.
Sure.
Depends on how much you've consumed.
Oh, that's a big
and
part of
who you're with.
And I'll agree with that. Because, one of my closest friends grew up with him. I've known him since I was probably 3 or 4. We're together. We listen to a lot of 80s stuff. But, like I was telling Tyler before we started recording, if I'm getting ready to go out to my deer stand, I've got a different playlist I like to listen to. If I'm going to go to the gym...
Got some Luke Bryan or something?
No. No.
It's terrible.
Absolutely not.
Yuck. Anyway.
Yeah. Jason Aldean? Absolutely not. He was trash before all this drama. He sucked ass whenever he came out. And then...
Why don't you guys try this shit in a small town?
Yeah, try that.
How about that? Hey, you did it. God damn it, Norbert. You did it. I'm glad you got the reference. We've been fucking referring to that for the last month, I feel like.
Least.
Oh, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
I need to just go back and rewatch it.
You did.
Anyway.
But yeah.
That's my seat,
Music's got a... It sounds, I don't want to say cliche, but it touches your soul. It really does.
Yeah.
Dude,
it sets the vibe for certain things you're doing. It sets the vibe for, the whole day.
I've got songs that just absolutely get me amped and ready for the day. I've got songs that will bring a tear to the eye.
Sure.
It all depends. Certain songs hit people different ways.
Yeah.
And some of those, they can be happy memories, they can be sad memories.
That's the amazing thing behind it. It could be a rap song about some dude talking about his baby mama taking him to court, and it's like, dude, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
for sure.
They'd be taking me there all the time, It's like, I don't even have kids.
Small chance you do.
Yeah.
I would say if I had to pick a go-to for me, not exactly a genre, but just the band, is probably Amity Affliction.
Yeah.
They have been my go-to. Yeah, Sean and I have both been on.
Which I was into Screamo and stuff when I was younger, which they're Screamo, but they do it differently, I think. They're not just constantly Screamo. Mm-hmm. But without going back and listening to Asking Alexandria and some of those bands where it's just all basically Screamo, Amity Affliction just hits it right in the middle.
Yeah. The thing that gets me about those guys, though, is every song that they've released has a meaning behind it. It's not just words thrown on paper. came up with the music afterwards.
And then you can watch the music videos, and they're beautifully,
yeah,
you know,
It
shot.
follows the song.
yeah,
There's a meaning to it.
yeah.
Where there, I feel like, especially in country, there's a lot of music where you're like, okay, I just have this weird feeling that this was not wrote by this guy, you know.
Mhm.
I just,
yeah, for sure.
And
There's a bunch of that.
and that's
there's a
no
lot
drag
of
on
it.
country, because I like the older country better, but
I was gonna say, what do you call in country? Because you've got the new stuff that.
when I
Bro
think of like the country
where
I
you got
like,
country.
I know that he isn't country, but I think of like back in like 2006, 2007, like Uncle Cracker. And
Let's come back to me.
that's who I think of. I know he's not necessarily country, but goddamn it, Uncle Cracker, thank you.
It's a good song. It is.
But
What about you boys? You got go-tos? Just depends on mood, or
It really depends on the mood. Because there's times where I'll go out and mow, and I know you hate this guy, but Morgan Wallen, I've been a fan since he started releasing stuff,
Mhm.
and
it's not
He's-
that I'm not a fan. Some of his music's not bad. He tries way too damn hard, I feel like.
he's really blown up recently, and it's not one of those that I'm like, you know, I'm on the bandwagon kind of thing. It's just I like his music, and there's other people along with him like Bailey Zimmerman. The only thing with Bailey Zimmerman is he sings about the same stuff. Like, I really like his music, but it's always about a heartbreak or something, or a
I'll
girl.
agree. It's repetitive.
Yeah,
So it's the male version of Taylor Swift.
basically.
Well, it's like that. You can say
I
that.
really,
When she was country.
yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, there's times I'll go out to mow and I'm like, we're gonna listen to all of Morgan Wallen's new album. And then there's other times where I'm like, you know, some Avril Lavigne Complicated sounds amazing right now.
Hey.
Or some Breaking Benjamin,
Oh.
Angels Fall, or
Nice.
like
3
What
Days
Lies
Grace.
Beneath.
I don't know. I just have
3
this
Days Grace,
like I have this
Riot.
feeling arising in me that you're lying, and it's all just Kevin Gates. It's just
I will
constantly
say
Kevin
some
Gates.
Kevin Gates or Lil Wayne or Ollie. I listen to a lot of comedians too.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I'm just cruising across the backyard, and I'm sure people are like, "What the fuck?" Because I'm back there in
You're-
fucking
yeah,
tears
you're crying.
swerving all over the fucking
I've
yard.
done that too.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
get on Pandora and just find a stand-up comedian, and it just rambles through just a ton of them.
I think anybody that rides motorcycles, especially with a helmet on, you know, it's like when you have a helmet on, you're listening to music, you're literally sitting there screaming and
Oh,
like
yeah.
singing,
I
and
know.
nobody
Good
can
idea.
hear a fucking thing.
No.
You know, you think your shower singing is just personal as fuck, but
Pull up to a stoplight, and the bike's just. You're like,
and you got beautiful paint on by Saya.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, nobody
heart
has
racing.
any idea, and you're in your own world
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
and you're living it.
Yeah.
there's a lot of times that I'm riding, my head's fucking loose.
yeah.
You know, they're probably like,
Uh,
"What's
It's on crack.
Yeah.
It must be a swarm of bees or something. He's trying to avoid them.
Yeah.
You want to
There's
clean
bees
that off.
in the car.
There's bees in the goddamn car.
Well, and going to like the whole whatever you're listening to on the mower, and you're just belting it out. I remember growing up, I'd be mowing our old go-kart track at my parents' place, and I'd have my earbuds in, and 13-year-old me just cruising out there on the little tractor lawnmower, and I'm just putting on a one-man show.
yeah.
In my own little world, come back up to the house, and Dad just looking at me like I got a third eye. It's like, what? He's like, could you sing any fucking louder? It's like,
Oh, you heard that?
yeah, I
my
didn't
bad.
realize I was that loud.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because it reminds me of the newer electric mowers.
Oh,
The
yeah.
commercials of those, they talk about how, you know, you're out there, you're jamming, and it's like, oh, well, with the electric mowers, you don't have the engine roar, you don't have the
Yeah.
exhaust.
All you
All
hear
you
is.
hear, Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't hear anything,
It's like a
but you can hear you singing
Yeah.
crystal clear.
Oh yeah.
And how awful you sound.
Yes.
Yeah, it reminds me of it.
Yeah, you go to crack it or let out a really juicy one, and it's like, fuck.
That
My-
was
my
louder than
na-
the mower.
Yeah,
My-
the
my
mower
older
sounds
neighbor,
like you're shuffling
Margaret,
a deck
heard
of cards
that.
and you just shit your pants, you know.
The neighbors are over there like, God, that guy probably needs a. It's probably wet wipe.
That's a blue towel right there, that's
Blue
for
rag.
sure.
Blue rag clean up on aisle 2.
And Tyler, what was the music you were wanting to, or
Well, the what I say is Oliver Anthony. There's a big, I don't want to call it a fuss, but there's a lot going on behind that, and it really hits what's going on right now. And I mean,
Yeah.
if you really listen to the words and you think about it, it's like, yeah, that's what's going on. Like it's crazy to think, you know, all 4 of us we work our asses off. I wouldn't say we work terribly hard.
Sure.
It's like there's days where we do. We bust ass. We sweat.
well, you don't work on
Like-
my shift, so you don't see me actually doing.
Well,
it.
yeah.
I do, and I still don't see you actually doing that.
Well, I'm listening to Kevin Gates. Fuck you guys. I'm playing Minecraft.
Playing Minecraft. Leave me alone.
But there's a lot to be said about that because, like, in high school, I would catch myself just listening to whatever my buddies were. Might
Yeah.
not be exactly what I liked, but I would listen to
You
it.
did it
to-
kind
Yeah, just to
as
give
a-
it. Yeah, give it a
Kind of
shot.
as a
Well, it's a
clique
topic.
or a group
Right.
thing.
It's something you can talk about.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, I listened to this song. You know, it was really good. Or, you know, why do you listen to that shit?
Right, right. And now I catch myself, I don't care if it's pop, if I can relate to those lyrics and I think it's written well, anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
I'm all about lyrics.
I mean, I listen to literally everything. I mean, it's Celine Dion one day
Same.
and Rob Zombie the other.
And
Yeah.
again, before we started recording this, I was telling Tyler, I'll go from Suicide Boys,
I love Suicide Boys.
yeah, I'll listen to Kevin Gates, or the next song might be the Rum Jacks or Dropkick Murphy to Breaking Benjamin.
I will
cover
say,
all
like,
the whole fucking spectrum.
like I'm on Spotify. That's what I use. The worst thing for me right now is like I listen to a lot of like independent rap artists. So there's a million of them.
No.
And like I'm so grateful that we live in a time where everybody's able to put out what they want as
Yeah.
artists. But god dang, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm liking songs, and then I'll be a few months later. It's like, oh, that song sounds good right now, and then it's like, I can't remember who it was that sang that, what their name was, and
Because they haven't made it. They're still trying.
yeah, and yeah, it's like it. I compare it to Netflix. You get on Netflix or any of the streaming services now, and there's just so fucking much
Yeah.
that you just feel overstimulated, or at least I do.
I would
But-
with that.
Either or, I think I'm bitching about a pleasure that I think I'm grateful to have.
Yeah.
Just to be able to have so much music like we do now,
Oh, yeah.
without
There's
having to go out
endless-
and buy the entire album
Yeah, you
for
can
one
literally listen
song.
to anything
Yeah.
you want to right here, right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You don't have to go steal a vinyl and trying to.
You don't have to LimeWire or Frostwire that.
I
Yeah.
have given many a computer aids between FrostWire, LimeWire, Pornhub. I mean,
Whatever.
you run into
Whatever
it.
you come across.
Yeah.
Go back to Suicide Boys. We were just trying to find a song by them. You click the link to download it off of LimeWire, and next thing you know, it's the audio from Busty Mills. It's like, whoa! How did I get here?
Yeah.
What are you doing, step bro? Whoa! I thought that was a song. My bad. What's your fellers' take on Nickelback? Are they metal
Ooh, Nickelback.
or not?
No.
Some say yes.
I don't think
Who
they're-
said yes?
Neanderthals.
I mean,
I'm not in.
I'm not gonna be the one that disses Nickelback because
not dissing.
I've never
That's
met
one
a
I will
band
say.
that has had so many fucking. They're like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like it seems like every fucking song they put out, not recently, because I feel like Chad Kroger fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
But you know, god dang, when I think about the early 2000s or even like, you know, the 2005 to 2010 era, I think Nickelback.
Yeah.
And
I have
You're not
nothing
wrong.
against them other than the fact they claim to be one of the best metal bands. It's like, you're
no.
a new. It depends
I
on
wouldn't
the
even
album.
really consider.
It does. It depends on the album. It depends on each song. Honestly, it's all
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
I mean, I would say they're definitely a rock band, but they're not no.
You know what I think? I think it would be awesome if Chad Kroger would just shut up. You know,
Yeah.
just let us enjoy the
That-
music and just leave it at that.
That goes
Don't
with
give
a lot
yourself
of
a
artists.
title.
Like,
'Cause I know,
why did you have to agree to making that statement?
Well, and
You know, was BuzzFeed like, hey, we're going to pay you $1,000 if you just say, you know, you're the best metal band or
Sure.
what? You know?
Is that a promotion?
right,
Like,
right. Well, I know like one of your favorite bands, Slipknot. I like Slipknot. I love what Corey Taylor has done throughout his whole musical career, but he also needs to shut the fuck up.
yeah, it's like we're just trying to listen to your music, and it's like,
Yeah, I don't need
I don't
your
care
political
about-
stance on
yes,
stupid shit.
Yep, I agree.
I want to hear you go up there and tear your vocal cords because you are a hell of a screamer.
Singing about stuff you care about. And
Yeah.
it kind of shows, like, I don't know, maybe not to get too deep into it, but maybe the money has led them to a life where they don't have a lot of those issues that they were once singing
Sure.
about, you know? I don't know. But
Well, and I
leave
also
the
hate.
politics out of it.
Yeah.
Like, just, I think the best music artists are the ones that just post pictures and put out the music,
Yeah.
because people just kind of make their best, I don't know, visualization of what they think you are as a person when you're not out there spewing your opinions and just putting out good music.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
And another thing I hate to see, and this is just coming from like a fan standpoint, like Bullet for My Valentine.
Oh.
I've loved all their stuff, except for their newer.
No, I haven't.
They changed their sound a lot.
Oh, really?
I'm all about a band going and getting their big payday.
Sure.
I mean, put out music that is going to make you the biggest cash in. But from a fan standpoint, I hate it because they completely change. They
Yeah.
go to
You
more
go
of
with
like
what's
a
hot.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't just do what you're wanting to do.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's me being greedy. Like, and it is. It's like,
Sure.
again, I'm all for you going and getting your bags, but quit changing your sound. I'm not going to call you a sellout, but I guess.
And I think that changes with everybody, though, because, like, you've got, like, I love them to death, but, like, Godsmack, they have sounded the same for their
And,
entire
yeah.
career. And it, I don't know, it's just too hard. I'm just grateful that, again, we have the music that we do.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
But you are correct. Like, sometimes it's just infuriating to
Don't
have to
go
have
with it because someone asked you to, or because that's what's the hot topic right now.
Yeah.
Just sing.
just put out what
put
you
out good
were
music.
first, like what you first set out to do. You know?
Put out good music.
And I could be completely wrong about Bullet. Maybe that is the kind of stuff they want them to switch to.
Sure.
Because like
Yeah.
Avenged Sevenfold, they went through that.
Yeah.
After M Shadows, after he
I don't know if
fucked
you
up
guys
his
ever
voice.
listened to Avenged Sevenfold, but like they were, I mean,
They were one,
huge.
yeah, they were one of the heaviest bands. And then he fucked his voice up, and he had to reteach himself how to sing. And they're putting out the music they are now. Really, since about the City Evil album.
Yeah, I mean, I will always give it to them. They have just made good music.
Yeah. Caleb, you're not really weighed in on this too terribly much.
I don't know a whole lot of these people.
No,
He's
I've listened
There's
to some
literally
stuff,
a divider right here.
Yeah. I mean, I could sit in the middle because I flirt with both lines.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I respect all music.
Sure.
Except
Yeah.
for Kevin Gates. No, I'm just kidding. I like him.
well. That's go ahead.
No, you go. No, go ahead. You're
All right.
Go ahead.
All right.
I like Kevin Gates. I've listened to some of Avenged Sevenfold. You know, I love Bullet. Since high school, I've always liked them. You know, and then you go back to Papa Roach, you go back Three Doors Down, Breaking Benjamin.
Disturbed, Stained.
After listening to him, but it's Crossfade. You know,
Oh
I feel
yeah,
like
I was just listening to them the other
feel
day,
like
and I'm
it's-
like,
it's
what
similar-
happened to them?
there's similar hate for Crossfade and Nickelback, and it's
Yeah.
like I thought Crossfade was really good. It's like
Yeah.
okay, what's the big deal with it?
I
Like,
think a
it's
lot of
music.
them are like, now they look at it and they're like, that's cringe. But it was like, yeah, but then when it was created, it wasn't cringe. It was so fucking good that now you see it as cringe because people were so into it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But,
yeah, I listen to rap country. I like old country, new country. The newer country,
there's definitely
there's a line.
Yeah.
I don't.
It
It's Florida Georgia
slowly
right now.
started dividing into
Yes.
like what is good and or like even like Florida Georgia Line for
I was just about to bring them up.
like whenever they first started out, I enjoyed them, and it was kind of something different. They were one of the first. Well, I can't say one of the first. One of the first I listened to that was like
You're right.
they're different.
Yes. It's
But-
not your traditional, Tim McGraw
Yeah.
or Kenny Chesney.
It's not your
or-
traditional country. It's not your
It's
newer
more
pop.
upbeat.
Yeah.
But then they slowly turned into this different stuff, and then they end up splitting up, and now they're just they're not a go-to anymore. But listening back to Anything Goes album, that one, and then
Was that their first album?
I think it was the second one.
Okay.
And the main reason that one always sticks in my mind from them is because I had just turned 16 and that album came out and that sumbitch was on repeat.
Just my opinion. It blew my mind that a band like Florida Georgia Line got as big as they did and bigger than somebody like Chris Stapleton.
Yes.
Because in my eyes, Chris Stapleton is a
Got
country
a lot
singer.
of soul.
Yeah, that is country,
He's country
music.
music still.
And he started off hot with his first album. And he's released, 2 more, and you don't really hear a whole hell of a lot about it.
Yeah.
2 or 3 for sure.
And it just blows my mind. Because to me, Stapleton, that takes a lot more talent than what Florida Georgia Line did.
Yeah.
But that's what was hot. And
Yeah,
that's,
exactly.
Right. That's what
So,
right
that's
now
what
the
Nashville
media
won.
is on the. I don't want country pop, I guess you call it.
Sure,
It's more
sure.
of a poppy country.
Bro
It's
country.
more upbeat.
Yeah. That shit.
I wouldn't call it tractor rap, but it's getting there. But close to it.
Now that is one genre of music I cannot listen to is the country rap.
Like, I think it all started from Dirt Road Anthem.
Yeah, it was Colt Ford and Brantley Gilbert.
Now, I like Colt Ford, but like somebody like Ryan Upchurch, I don't like him.
As a person,
my opinion.
right. As a person, I don't know because I personally I don't know him, obviously.
Right.
I'm
It's
some
just
country
what you've
bumpkin
seen
that
of
lives
him.
in a small town, but there's a few songs that I've heard from him that's like it's one of those you listen to the lyrics.
Mhm.
You don't necessarily listen to what the flavor of the music is or what the genre, whatever you want to
Right.
call it.
Right.
You listen to the lyrics and it's like I feel that. I could stand behind that, and it's like that's a decent song to me. But I wouldn't say that I'm a Upchurch fanboy or a Colt Ford. He's more of an
Older,
school
like he
country
was
rap.
probably like one of those that kind of started.
I would
country
say
rap.
he was. I wouldn't say an originator, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
He's close. For sure.
I've seen, again, I'm not a big fan of him, but I have seen him in concert. It was actually him, and it was Eric Church before he got big.
Oh, I like Eric Church.
They
Eric
both
Church,
opened up
yeah.
for
I like it.
Hank Williams Jr. And Hank Jr. was the reason why I was at the concert.
Right.
It's like, well, Hank sucked live. Colt Ford was meh, and Eric Church stole the show.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of his newer stuff, but his early albums, fantastic.
First couple like
Loved
Sinners
them.
Like Me, and then
Sinners Like Me.
what was it, Carolina?
Carolina.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I think there was maybe one after
That
that.
was a good
really
Eric Church
but
for me.
That Springsteen song.
That
I love that
I
song.
know it's super popular, but you gotta think, like, not a country guy, so.
yeah.
But God, that made me feel like I had, like, a high school sweetheart.
Yeah, a yellow
Like,
Jeep that you'd cruise around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
I gave that lifestyle a thought for a second when I listened to that song.
I'm gonna buy me a pair of fucking Ariats.
Yeah. No.
Goddamn
No.
it.
Who can afford that?
But another guy, like Jelly Roll,
Oh, I like Joey.
not a fan of his music. But I watched him on the Joe Rogan podcast. One of the most interesting fucking people I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah. Him
would
and
second
his
that
wife.
for sure.
Very
yeah.
interesting guy.
Their story.
Yeah.
Their story blows my mind.
Yeah, you know,
Have you heard,
yeah.
you've
I've
heard
heard
their story?
a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people will claim, she's some gold digger. But you hear the story, and he obviously didn't have any fucking money.
I was going to say, he would technically be the gold digger. He started off, he was trying to sell his albums out of a van he was living in.
Yeah, and she had the money, and I don't know, it's all, it all can be a facade behind, like, cameras, but I just see their stuff on TikTok or Instagram Reels, and I don't know, I just always liked his stuff. It was always very deep. Coming from a guy that
he does hit,
and he'll admit
hard,
it too, but he is not a guy that you would think is going to be the center of
one of my
rap
and I love,
attention.
Like, you hear him on the radio, and you have, like, in your head, you picture him one way, and then I saw him on that podcast. He's like, whoa!
Yeah, you flip the script.
yeah. But yeah,
You're like, whoa.
He's just a very interesting person.
All around, for sure. Yeah, his all around look.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to do the country thing. I don't know if you want to call it country, but you know what I'm saying. He's tiptoeing into it.
Yeah.
Sure.
We've
Like the
touched
Son of the Sinner. I feel like that's more of a country, but it also fits in with
that's a good
today's.
song.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I enjoy that song. It fits in today's country genre.
Yeah.
Not country.
Right.
Years ago, but. I enjoy it too. Like his whole persona is just wild. Like you see him in person, or you picture him, whatever. He's tatted up. He's a big guy. Like you wouldn't expect this. You wouldn't expect that.
No,
You're
I mean,
like, wow. What?
When I first seen him,
Right.
I think all the haters though, it's like they would fucking kill to be in his fucking shoes. Anyway.
One of my
absolutely,
favorite
100%.
things, like I don't follow him a whole lot, but it was whenever he won an award. I don't know if it was CMT Awards or ACM, whatever it was. He won an award, and whenever he got up there, he's like, it took me, 39 years or something like that to go from there to here.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing really hits me. People like that are like,
he worked.
I've had a rough life, and I've changed myself, and I was sitting right there, and now I'm here.
Well,
Like,
can you
that's
imagine
awesome.
even from like him being a bigger guy, like he's
Yeah,
probably sitting
you
there
don't
watching
get
all
that
these
shit all the
other
time.
people in the music industry that look fucking
They
perfect.
look country.
Yeah.
They look like they're supposed
They're
to.
your
Yeah,
model.
he's just sitting there
Brian,
like,
Morgan
I mean, I can
Wallen,
only imagine.
Jason
I do it to
Aldean.
myself. It's like
Yeah.
I would never be that. I would.
Yeah.
There's no way. I look like this.
Well,
and it's like, fuck that. Like he is a prime example.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but the same award that you're talking about, whenever he got up on stage, they gave him the award. Pretty sure that's the one where, on that podcast, he had said, he's like, that's when the realization hit. He's like, I leaned over to my wife and was like, we fucking made it.
Yeah.
He's like, I was a piece of shit junkie.
That's a
and
milestone.
You were a high-class whore. And here we are. Like, holy fucking shit.
I'm going up on stage. I'll be right back.
Yeah. And I think he ended up winning another award that night. And he's like, there's no fucking way. Like, you would have told him 10 years ago, you're going to win all these awards for this music.
Something
He'd
that's
call you
crazy,
fucking nuts.
You're talking about that is a lot of artists that have come out recently are people that have never sang before, have never played an instrument before. Like I was talking about earlier, Bailey Zimmerman. He worked in the pipeline, and he just posted some videos.
Blue collar boy.
Yeah, one of us. He posted some videos on TikTok, and it blew up. Next thing you know, he's touring with Morgan Wallen.
See, and those are the stories.
Like
I
his
like.
first year.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I see a bunch of stuff about it, and people are like, the one thing that I hate most about Bailey Zimmerman is I never got to pay his cheap concert tickets.
Oh yeah.
Like next year he's going on his own tour. Like he went from being on TikTok to touring the Morgan Wallen to having his own. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Selling out stadiums.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it's even the same with this, though. I mean, making these, little podcasts or whatever you call them, you never know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He probably looks back at his first, videos he made, and he's like, why? You know?
Yeah.
We were terrible.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stand-up comics that did the same thing.
Oh, I can't imagine.
They travel
that.
all over the place just begging for a 10-minute spot, whether it's a bowling alley or a fucking comic book store, just anything
anyway.
to
And
try
that
to
is
get their name
that is
out.
a crazy field of like entertainment, because they literally know how to take like, oh shit, this crowd is not enjoying
Yeah.
this, and
Everything
but I'm gonna
gotta
keep
read
going.
it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep trying.
Yeah,
You know,
and-
Bert Kreischer, my favorite
Oh,
comedian.
hilarious.
2 bears in 1 cave. I'll give a shout out to them.
That's a good one.
Them guys
That guy-
kill me.
How many places do you think he, how many people told him, no, don't do it, don't do it,
Yeah.
go
You're
get
not
in the
that-
trades,
You're
go
not
get,
that funny.
yeah. I mean, how many people?
Mm-hmm.
And now
But-
you watch him, and it's hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
But all he had to do was hit millions of people, and then it's like, whoa, now you have, now it's not your small town telling you, you can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's from a small town, but yeah, Bert Kreischer.
And now he's got his own movie that they made
Yeah.
after it.
Yeah.
The
Just some-
Machine.
yeah.
The Machine,
Yeah.
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 I seen him live, and it was phenomenal. So if you guys ever get a chance,
I love the no shirt act.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Like,
That's great.
He's just a big boy, and he's repping that belly.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
That
hell
dad
yeah,
bod.
that dad bod for sure.
Yep. I love it.
I do
Uh,
love it.
One of my favorite comedians is Rodney Carrington.
Yeah.
I recently seen a podcast of him, and he was talking about where he came from and stuff, and he said that he basically came from nothing. His dad worked at I want to say a factory or something. I could be wrong on that, but it was something along those lines. Kind of similar to where we're from. You know, like it's not necessarily like it's our only choice, but it's like,
There's 2 big money makers in town.
Yeah.
You either work here or you work there.
it's like either you're gonna work and make good money or not, or you're gonna move. Like
Yeah.
and
that's your
everything
option.
outside of that is unrealistic.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you can't do it.
Yeah.
So he was talking about how he didn't come from money, and whenever he graduated, he didn't know what he wanted to do, but he went and started working wherever his dad worked, and he's like, this isn't for me.
Mhm.
So he went out, and he said that he went to like school for theater or something. He said it just sounded kind of interesting, and it's funny because he said it fucking terrified me, but that's what made me want to do it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't like being afraid of things, so I wanted to do the most terrifying thing I could and get over it and know that I achieved it.
Yeah.
So he went and did that, and then that kind of spun into doing stand-up comedy. And he said his first show that he did was 5 minutes long, and he said he felt like he didn't do very well. And then he got an opportunity to go to another place. That guy come and cut him his check at the end of the night, and he said, "You're fucking terrible. I want you to know that." And he's like, he just said he sat there for a second, and he's like, I could really tell in his voice, like he wasn't telling me that I fucking suck, but it was like, I can tell you've got drive in you, that you're really interested in this, but you're fucking horrible at what you're doing. And he said he went,
Right.
yeah, he said he just started hopping shows, anything he could get, and then he went from 7 to 10 minute skits to working into half-hour skits. But he
Yeah.
said he got to like the half-hour skits, and he did that for, I want to say he said it like 5 to 10 years. He did the exact same routine,
Mhm.
but at the time he was coming up, it's not like you'd hear it. So
Right.
it's not like, because he said it's not the same people coming to the shows,
Right.
but not only that, it's not like you can pull it up on your phone right now and
Mhm.
listen
what-
to
yeah.
whatever he just did.
Right.
But then he said it, he got his first big check, and it was $12,000. And he said, I remember they handed me that check, and I opened the envelope and looked at it, and we were sitting in the van, and he's like, $12,000? What the fuck? He's like, I didn't even do anything. He's like, I didn't even work for this shit,
Right.
you know?
Surprise!
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was talking about all that, and then of course he is what he is now. But I seen Rodney Carrington. I was way too young to be watching him, kind of thing. But the first time I seen him, I laughed as a little kid, and as I've gotten older, he's more relatable to
yeah.
everything he's saying. But
Now you
he's-
understand.
Yeah, he's just hilarious, and it's like to see where he came from to like the first thing I watched of him. I'm like, that's crazy to think that. You
Right.
know, he had people tell him straight to his face, "You're fucking horrible."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's amazing where people come from.
I mean, to me, it's easy to think, like, seeing somebody that's famous, it's like, God, they've had everything handed to them. Like,
I love hearing
God, and-
how they
and-
came up.
yeah, and then half the time you end up finding out that this entire time the world was throwing them down. They were manifesting something in their brains that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just really gives you courage to maybe jump outside of the.
They were just like you in a sense.
Yeah, I mean,
started
it's
at the
like
bottom.
Yeah.
look at us. We work in the factory, and it's like, for me personally, like everybody there is just like, nope, everything. You know, you see all this
So
stuff on TV.
negative.
That's all
This is what
unrealistic.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are born that way, and it's like, not really. Like you just have to risk and just believe. And
Yeah.
it will like.
Truly.
Don't be afraid to fail
Yeah.
and learn from the mistakes that you've made, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you're trying to achieve in life.
Yeah,
Fail-
and it,
failure
gotta start
shouldn't
somewhere.
scare you.
and what scares me is like the fact that maybe I'll just, sit there and wait on life to show me something,
Yeah.
and it's like, God, you gotta at least go out there and give it opportunity, like that Bailey Zimmerman, making those videos. He probably didn't want to make those videos.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Just like
He's like,
just
I'll give it a
bullshit.
shot,
Yeah.
And it's the
This is
same thing
stupid.
with this even. Like, I could be at home, working on schoolwork or doing something that I know would be
Minecraft.
productive, but then it's like, all right, we're smoking a pack of Marlboro Lights, Sorry, Mom. Anyway, it's like, I don't know, life is wild. And
Yeah.
I think
It
the
is.
people that are willing to close their mind off to it are the ones that stay stuck.
Yeah.
And they're going to be the most negative in your life. And I don't know. It's just crazy. You just always got to keep that open mind to opportunity.
You have to keep an open mind.
And I
All
like
the
that
time.
whole, if it scares you, try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Because that one hit home to me. Because it's like, God, there's some days, I get scared even going to the gas station.
But
But I can't imagine getting up and making jokes, and then people are like, "Oh, you're not funny," because I would
Yeah.
just go right back home and be like,
Yeah.
"Fuck it."
Or you got people like Eminem. Grew up in a
Yeah.
trailer park.
On 8 Mile.
Yeah, just a shitty life.
yeah.
And now look at it.
Look at the dude now.
Well, yeah.
He's got his own record label.
Yeah.
He's hired.
That-
While I do believe it probably brought a whole slew of other issues and lifestyle that he probably never imagined having.
and that goes
Oh,
for any
But
of
he
them.
manifested probably having a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
Yeah.
just because you have all that, life is still going to be shitty.
Mm-hmm.
first started getting big and got his big paydays and stuff, he would call his agent and be like, "Hey, I want to go out and buy this watch." His agent's like, "Okay, so do it." He's like, "Well, I didn't know if I could afford it," or
Yeah.
he's like,
I-
"You're a multi-millionaire."
I remember
Go
hearing
out
something about that. Yeah, same story, I guess.
Yeah. So he went out and he bought this $1,000 watch, and he still keeps that same watch that he bought in a case, protected, because he's afraid to wear it. And all of these big videos and stuff that you see, man, he wears the cheaper watches for him. Still
Yeah.
like $100, $200 watch that,
With his camouflage
like,
outfits on. And,
I love hearing those stories about people that started out with absolutely nothing and making it in life.
Yeah, for sure.
It should give a lot of people hope instead of them still trying to knock everyone down.
yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I think manifest what you want.
Yeah.
Don't listen to people because, God, there's so many people. It's like,
Yeah.
life flashes in an eye, and
You can't take everything to heart.
Yeah.
no,
If you
and
do,
that, that
you
was
will
something-
get fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You have to just take it
You
on
sit
the
around
chin,
trying to please everybody.
take it how you want it, But you gotta take it off the chin. You
Yeah.
know, deal with it in your own way, but you can't.
Again, learn from it
Mhm.
and just try to make yourself better or try to succeed
Yeah,
in different ways.
everything's uphill from here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna fucking space it a minute ago.
I'm a firm believer that if you are comfortable in a situation you're in, it's time to try to switch it up. Whether it's, if you're comfortable in your role at work, it's time to either try to move up the ladder or switch to a different department. And like our field of work, if you're comfortable on the equipment you're working on, it's time to go somewhere else. Because there's so much more out there to learn, and if you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you're gonna set yourself up to succeed in some ways.
Yeah.
I'm not talking being a operator in this area and go straight to plant manager by any means, but
Yeah.
a toss up no matter what you try to accomplish.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of gristled up.
Yeah?
Are you gristled up?
Always.
Oh yeah.
I don't go a minute in life without being bristled up.
Oh yeah. For sure. For sure.